Did you know Simba Sleep sells £100 million worth of mattresses through its website each year? Yeah, you want to see how they do it, don't you? Yeah, so do I. Let's do it. And we're also going to have a look at the digital marketing lessons we can learn and apply to our own businesses. Let's go. The mattress market has been totally disrupted. Direct-to-consumer mattress brands are popping up everywhere, and it's estimated that in the US alone, 200 different brands are stuffing mattresses into boxes and sending them out directly to consumers. 200. Now, obviously, when a market takes off like this attracts a huge amount of investment, and that can often lead to a customer acquisition at all costs mentality. This means that to win in this space, you have to be at the top of your game. And in the UK, it is Simba that is at the top of its game. It sells more mattresses direct to consumer than anybody else, which is why we've chosen them for this digital marketing deep dive. We're going to take a look at how well they're doing, some areas where they can improve, but most importantly, we're going to be drawing out the lessons that we can learn and apply to our businesses. Whatever you're selling, whether you're direct to consumer, B2B, whether you're selling e-commerce or services, it doesn't matter. The fundamental principles are always the same. So stick around until the end. I'm going to give you 3 actionable prompts that you can apply to your business, whatever you sell, immediately. Okay, first up, a little primer. How do you win in a space like this? Well, there are 2 really important things that a brand like Simba needs to keep in mind. Firstly is maximizing the number of sales, so increasing the number of transactions. And that is basically about getting as much traffic onto the website and converting as much of that traffic as possible. The second thing that they need to think about is average order value. In a competitive space like this, where customer acquisition costs are going to be very high, the businesses that can afford to spend the most to profitably acquire a customer are going to be the ones that can afford to scale and win. So Simba has done a lot of things to increase that average order value, meaning that it then has more money to invest in the marketing. Now, let's take a look at their website and see how they do it. So first of all, this is the product page. Now, for any direct consumer brand, the product page is really where the rubber meets the road because all of the purchases are going to come through this page. So this page needs to do an incredible job of answering people's questions, objections, and making them feel safe to purchase. So what does Simba deploy on this page to make that happen? Well, we've got lots of credibility devices. Things like this voted product of the year 2020 icon. That's there to be a shortcut to say this is a decent product, obviously. We also got a huge number of reviews, and we've got a link to those reviews later on down the page. We've got these additional benefits here, 100% recyclable and carbon neutral as well. As we go further down this product page, we can see that we've got different add-ons that we can add to increase our average order value. We've then got these benefits. Now for me, I'd want to see these benefits actually in a benefits bar at the top of the page underneath the menu. That way they are immediately obvious to anybody who's visiting the website without them having to scroll down. These are all risk reversal and objection handling. Free delivery, objection handling. Risk-free 200-night trial, that is risk reversal. 0% finance, objection handling. 10-year guarantee, risk reversal. So these are really important conversion devices, but I would have to scroll down to see them. So if I were Simba, or if I were advising Simba, I'd say let's put these underneath your main menu here so that it's immediately obvious when somebody lands on these pages why they should be doing business with you. As we go further down the page, we have what I'm going to call a kind of Apple style product page. And what I mean by that is they've taken elements of the product and they've kind of branded them. So for example, you know, like how Apple says, well, if a screen is curved, we call it a liquid display. If it's high resolution, we call it retina. So they've given it their own terminology. Well, Simba does exactly the same thing here. So here we've got the Simba Aero Coil Micro Spring Comfort Layer. From what I can tell, they put little springs in it. Or we've got the fresh feel of Simbatex foam. Okay, so they've designed a lower density memory foam. But by branding these things as separate, they feel higher value and it gives you a reason to purchase from Simba rather than a competitor, which might not have Simbatex foam. They might have regular memory foam, but maybe it's not Simbatex. We've got some additional specification and we get to see that Simba really considers themselves a kind of engineering or science leader. That's how they're positioning their product. This is a very science-led product that's technically the best. This is not an emotional purchase. We also get some nature and sustainability things as well. Then we get carbon neutrality. We get some information about awards. This is another credibility tool. These are all third-party entities. They're all third-party publications that have certified Simba as a decent product. And we notice later on that they use these in their social media ads as well. So remember, when you're attempting to sell something like this, what your customers often want is a shortcut to credibility, and that's exactly what these sort of awards give you. We've got some more benefits here, and then we've got their different product range, which we'll come back to in a minute. Then we have the holy grail of credibility, which is a huge volume of reviews. In this case, 81,000 different reviews, and you can sort them, you can order them, whatever. We've got some FAQs. Then we have, at the end, we've got their footer, and subscribe to our newsletter. If you've been following Exposure Ninja for a little while, you know subscribe to our newsletter is a total washout. Again, we will come back to that later on. So this is a decent product page. It does a decent job of selling the product. Now, the other thing that they need to do is increase their average order value. And there's two ways that Simba does this. Firstly, by having these little add-ons, which you can add really quickly and easily straight from the product page. This is brilliant. Particularly the addition of the bed base, which is a relatively new thing for Simba. It's a higher value add-on, which means that they can significantly increase their average order value, which significantly increases the profit per sale. But the other thing that they do to increase their average order value is that they have a range of products. So here you've got the basic version from $659, you've got the slightly better one for $1,059, or you've got the best one for $1,249. So here you have a difference of basically 100%. The top end one is basically double the price of the hybrid one. Now, they've positioned these really interestingly because they actually don't talk too much about the differences other than this stuff here. And this is in the menu, remember. We're getting sold the differences between these products actually in the menu. I, as an ignorant consumer, might not know the difference between the Simba Hybrid and the Simba Hybrid Luxe, but they've cleverly given me two anchor points that I do understand. The first of those is the number of layers that each mattress has. So the Simba Hybrid has 5 layers. Well, the Simba Hybrid Luxe has 10 layers. Any idiot knows that more layers equals better, right? The other anchor point that I understand is the depth of the mattress. And again, in my head, I associate a deeper mattress with better because I'm getting more mattress for my money. And we've got 25 centimeter depth with the hybrid and 31 centimeter depth with the Luxe. Now, for all I know, these differences might be completely meaningless. The number of layers might be totally irrelevant, as might the depth. In fact, it probably is, because I'm probably not going to sink all the way to the bottom of my mattress anyway. But the great thing about this is that people who like to just buy the best of something, like me, will go for the Hybrid Luxe because it is the best that you can buy. And this actually, by the way, completely happened to me. I bought a Simba Hybrid Luxe based on no other information than the number of layers and the depth, both of which might be completely irrelevant, but importantly, they are rational enough that the tiny proportion of my brain which is devoted to logical thought is satisfied that this is a better product. I can then upsell myself. The emotional part of my brain is then, oh, I want to buy the best one anyway. All I need is justification. The logical part of my brain says, okay, well, there's 5 more layers and 6 centimeters more depth, so therefore it must be better. So notice how Simba have given the logical part of the brain enough ammunition for that type of person to justify upselling themselves on the bigger product. It's really clever because they don't go into loads of explanation, they give you just enough. So that's the website. Now let's look at how they market it. And in particular, we're going to look at 3 digital marketing channels: SEO, pay-per-click, and paid social, as those seem to be the ones that Simba is putting the most energy into. Let's start with SEO. SE Ranking estimates that Simba is getting 170,000 monthly visitors to the site through organic search. Now, whilst I would be very cautious about relying on a number as exactly as that, what we can say with confidence is that they are getting a decent amount of organic traffic to the site. And this appears to be trending in the right direction. If we have a look at the phrases that they're ranking for though, we notice something really interesting. The majority of their traffic is being driven by branded search. This is people already searching for Simba mattresses, Simba mattress, Simba, Simba pillow, Simba mattress reviews, etc, etc. If we were to filter out people that were searching for Simba, we see that actually the site isn't ranking as well as it could be. The real holy grail in this space for maximizing traffic volume is to get ranking for phrases like single mattress, single mattresses, double mattress, king size mattresses, where there are much higher search volumes. So 90,000 searches per month for single mattress, 90,000 or so for double mattress as well. Now, if they can get ranking for those terms, that's going to be really profitable. The challenge at the moment is that they're ranking in position 22 onwards. So this is like page 3 of Google onwards, which is a bit of a dead zone. So what they really need to do is increase that ranking for these key non-branded terms, which obviously leads us to the question is, how would they do that? How would they increase the ranking for a term like double mattress or double mattresses? Well, the first thing that we can do is have a look at the page that's ranking for a phrase like double mattress. So it's this page here. Now we can see that the URL is simbasleep.com/products/double mattress. So this is a double mattress page. But there's something really weird about this page and in fact the setup on the site. Now I'm going to be specific about Simba here, and I'm conscious that you don't work for Simba, you don't care about Simba's setup, you want to optimize your website to be best ranking for you. So whilst I'm going to explain Simba, I'm going to make it as quick as possible so that we can get onto the more general learnings. However, this might be useful for you if your site is set up like this. What we've essentially got here is we've got two ways of filtering products on their site. The main way that they want you to filter products is by the mattress type. So here we're on the hybrid mattress page, but we're actually not on the hybrid mattress page, we're on a double mattress page. So this page has been designed to rank for the phrase double mattress, but it's not particularly good at doing that. And one of the reasons it's not particularly good at doing it is because this is basically the same as their hybrid page. In fact, it's almost entirely the same as their hybrid page. We can see that all of this information is generic across every single page of their site. And the bit that is unique to the double mattress page is basically just this stuff here. And that is not enough to tell Google that this is a super relevant page for double mattresses. It's a bit of a weird setup because what they really want you to do is to go onto the hybrid page and then choose a double mattress size. But because they need to have a static page designed to rank for double mattress phrases, they've done that, but they've basically just made it a product page. What I would want them to do instead would be to make this a category page where they show the different double mattresses that you can buy from Simba. So this is just one of their products. They've got 3 different types of mattress that you can buy. So what they could do instead is make this a dedicated page all about double mattresses, talking about sizing, talking about considerations when you're choosing a double mattress. Here are the 3 different double mattresses that you can buy from us, and that is going to make this page more useful to visitors who don't have to then come out of this product page, work out what the range looks like, and then go back into a product page. If we contrast this, for example, with another site that ranks for double mattresses, which is this one here, which is top ranking for double mattresses. So Dreams sells lots of different brands, and we'll see that most of the sites ranking for double mattresses, they are ranking category pages, not product pages. This is an example. We've got some text up at the top here, then we've got a good range of products for people to choose from. We can choose further pages, and then we've got all of this info that's specifically about double mattresses. So what's ranking here, what's working for people is these category pages. But what Simba is trying to rank is a product page, and one that is full of duplicate content at that. So the first lesson here for all of us is to make sure that we are trying to rank the right sort of page. Have a look at the pages that are already ranking. Make sure you're ranking that type of page, but you're just taking it to another level. If you're trying to beat category pages with product pages, you're often going to have a difficult time. Just like if you're trying to beat a content page with a product page. The search intent is different. Google thinks that people want to have a look through different products, and that engagement is going to be better with a category page than a specific product page, where it's like you either buy this or you're gone. The other thing that we notice about the competitor pages, which are ranking much better than Simba's pages, is that they have a much stronger link profile. So for example, here's the Dreams double mattress page that we just looked at, and SE ranking is seeing 36 referring domains, 238 total backlinks. If we compare this to the Simba page, we've got 11 domains and 19 backlinks. So another thing that Simba could do is increase the volume of links that they've got pointing to each of these key pages on their website. Now they actually have some really good opportunities to do this. They're getting stuff like this published, and this is an article on the Mail Online, dailymail.co.uk, which is a high authority site, where they have the psychologist Hope Bastine, who is also the kind of in-house sleep person at Simba. So she's in here in this article talking about, in this case, it's an article about going through the menopause and how you can help with sleep. So this is great content for Simba, and we've even got Simba being mentioned, but there is no link through to the page. So what we'd really like to see here is not only linking to the Simba website, but actually linking through to these key pages that they want to improve the ranking of to target these non-branded searches like double mattress. So for example, if you are competing with Simba or you were Simba, you could get an article all about, how to improve your sleep during the menopause. And one of the things that people might want to do is think about the size of bed that they're in, making sure that they're not too cramped. So people choose different beds for different reasons, and people often choose a double mattress, link through double mattress through to that double mattress page, which is going to increase its ranking. So a bit of SEO low-hanging fruit there. Next, we're going to have a look at their PPC, because as you'll notice in a space like this, anytime you're searching for mattress, you are seeing a lot of ads. You've got text ads up at the top here, you've got shopping ads, you've got ads at the bottom. This is a very heavily advertised space. So let's see what Simba is doing with its ads. Well, here we can see the ad traffic that they're driving. And again, SE Ranking estimates they're spending 190,000 a month on their Google ads in the UK. That's a chunk of cash. Now, while we can't be 100% confident that that is the exact right number, what we can say is that they're not going to be spending 300 quid. Like, this is a decent ad budget. So what are they running ads against? Well, we can see the keywords that they're running ads against, and we can see that they are being incredibly wide and incredibly broad. They're targeting every possible mattress term. They're not afraid of going really big. So they're targeting mattress, mattresses, Simba mattresses, double mattresses, all the phrases that they want to be ranking for, as well as competitors, things like Emma mattress. But there's two things I'm noticing from this. Firstly, I'm noticing them advertising against phrases like mattresses sale. Now, whilst you can kind of understand that, Simba are selling products that are between £600 and £2,000. Most of their competitors in the sale category are much, much cheaper than that. And I would argue that a Simba customer is going to be less price sensitive and therefore less likely to be searching sale. So I would question some of the targeting here. This looks to be a very gung-ho, very shotgun approach ad campaign, and I'm not 100% convinced that they're tracking the performance of each of these keywords as well as they potentially could be. But obviously, without having the data, we don't know for sure. The other thing that's really interesting here is the URL that they're driving people to. Normally with pay-per-click ads, we'd be driving people through to a dedicated landing page, whether that's a product page, a category page, or some kind of page that's optimized for pay-per-click traffic and tells a complete story in a single page without people having to scroll around. Well, with Simba here, what they're doing is they're actually driving everybody to their home page, aside for some smaller searches like Simba Pillow, where they're obviously driving through to the product page. Now, their homepage isn't bad at all. In fact, it does a really good job of setting the scene, explaining Simba, and kind of positioning the business. And that's great if you're advertising for phrases like best mattress or top memory foam mattresses. But what if somebody searches for a double mattress? You don't need to just send them through to a generic homepage. You could actually send them through to that double mattresses category page that we just talked about. Because in that search term, double mattresses, they've already given us some of their shopping criteria. We already know that they're in the market for a double mattress, so we can avoid forcing them to hunt through for mattresses of a particular size by giving them the page that is most relevant for them. So I feel that there is room for growth here with pay-per-click. Yes, they're investing very heavily in a space which is often acquisition at all costs, but this feels like a very Newcomb, everything to the max type campaign. And I think that there could be some opportunity for optimization, as well as looking at the pages that we're driving people through to and making sure they are as relevant as possible to the search term. This is also going to reduce their ad cost for phrases like double mattress. If you're just driving people who are searching for double mattress through to your homepage, your ad quality score is going to be lower than if you're driving them through to a page which is all about double mattresses and matches exactly what they're searching for. This means that you're going to be paying more for your ads than you need to. I don't care how much investment you've taken. If you can pay less for your ads, you should be doing that. Let's turn our attention now to paid social, and particularly Simba's ads on Facebook and Instagram. So we can see in the Facebook ad library here that they're running a decent amount of ads, and all of these started running in the last few days. So they are being very, very active on Facebook, and they seem to be testing lots of variations of their ads. And we can see from the creative in these ads that they're really pursuing two angles. Firstly, there's this kind of technical, scientific looking thing where they've got the renders of the different layers being shown, and they've got these background dots to show that this is sciencey. The color scheme is very scientific as well. So that's clearly something which is quite important in their positioning. The other angle that we can see them using heavily is this third-party social proof type thing. The T3 winner awards, we can see the living etc. standard. We can see that they're using testimonials in their ad copy, all of which is a good idea. The one thing I'd like to see them testing a little bit more is actually video content that looks a bit more like user-generated content. So the kind of influencer type led stuff that we tend to see performing really well on social. Because as soon as you see these, they look like ads. Of course they are ads, so that's not necessarily a bad thing. But if you can get someone engaging with a video because it looks like a video rather than an ad, that can be a good way to get their attention for a few seconds, which gives you a shot at presenting your promotional message to them. So the next thing I did was head over to their organic social to see what sort of user-generated content they're using and what sort of engagement they're getting with it. And I was blown away. Here is their Instagram page. They have 34,000 followers, which isn't a lot for a £100 million revenue brand. But even more amazing is how often they're posting on social. How often would you think a £100 million brand would be posting on social? Every week? Every hour? Every day? Every month, surely. Well, at least once a year, right? Wrong. Simba Sleep hasn't posted on their Instagram in 2021. Now, to be fair, they are more active on Facebook, but it's really, really basic stuff. It's all promotional. It's, are you looking for a new bed base? We've launched our very own. This is basically an ad, but without the budget behind it. And you can see people are just angry, they've missed their deliveries or whatever, so they're reacting poorly to these things. And that is basically the flavor of their Facebook page. It's just promotional. This is mad, right? This is a business that calls itself a sleep tech firm, not a mattress company. And if you're a sleep tech firm, where is the thought leadership about sleep? They have their own sleep person on staff. They've done testing, they've done analysis. They even have a Simba Sleep app where they've collected loads of data about how their customers and how people who use the app sleep. They could be real thought leaders in sleep. They could help the world to sleep better, and they could do this through their content that they post across social. This would give them huge visibility. This would give them a reason to be relevant for all sorts of people, because sleep is the one thing that unites all of us. This means that they'd have huge traction on their posts. They could share tips about sleep. They could share data from their studies and their surveys using the app. They could share what they found about what makes the perfect night's sleep, how you engineer the perfect night's sleep. And of course, while they're doing this, they would be using Simba in the background. They would be having Simba branded products all over the place, so they wouldn't even need to be too promotional about it. This could build them a big audience and make them really relevant, just like how Calm has kind of become the thought leader on meditation and having a calm mind. Simba could do this with sleep. Now, it sort of looks like they tried this a few years ago, but not to any significant extent, and certainly not with the backing of all the data and the insight that they must have from developing these products. They could also be using influencers more. It looks like Simba in Canada has been using influencers and seems to be getting some decent traction. For example, here's a post from Simba Sleep Canada, which is a much smaller account, much smaller visibility, but it's a collaboration with an influencer, and it's had 723 likes in a couple of days. So clearly you can get some traction. If we look at Simba's competitor, Emma has been running campaigns like this with the Food Medic, all about menstrual cycle and how her sleep patterns give her an indication of when she's about to have her period. And this is the sort of thing that gets massive engagement. Look at the amount of engagement here, and you've got 4,000 likes for this. So an influencer campaign is an absolute natural fit for a brand like Simba, because again, sleep is the one thing that unites us all and has huge relevance. So I'd be looking for this sort of influencer to run a campaign with, and they would also show us the sort of content that gets the most traction. Because what you'll find with an influencer is they don't just post a purely promotional message. The good influencers, even if they're working on a sponsored post, they're not just saying, hey, go and buy this thing, it's amazing. They're doing what the Food Medic has done here, where they're sharing some information, entertainment, that type of thing that they would be sharing anyway, but the brand is there. And this is a really good way of doing it. So I'd love to see Simba taking this sort of approach and using influencers in their social, because at the moment, this is just all untapped potential. If you're enjoying this video, consider subscribing to the channel. We usually post 3 times a week. Also, let us know in the comments, which brands do you want to see us analyze their digital marketing? Okay, so what are the key takeaways and lessons that we can learn from this? Well, the first thing is that Simba isn't over-reliant on any one channel. They've got some organic search, they've got some paid search, and it seems to be going fairly well. We can assume that their paid social activity is also going very well given the number of ads that they're running. Now, of course, they could beef up further with organic social and with their content. This could take their marketing to a whole different level and a huge audience that isn't currently in the market for a new mattress. Simba also has a decent website with very good use of social proof and a very compelling product. If you're selling direct to consumer or you're selling a product that has the potential to be commoditized, then Simba's website is a really good illustration of how you can differentiate yourself from competition by using your own branded features and also by using third-party and social proof. We also learned that if we want to rank well for competitive terms like double mattress, we need to identify the types of pages that are ranking and make sure that we're targeting those types of pages on our website, but just taking them to the next level. If we're trying to rank pages that are extremely different to the sorts of pages that are ranking, that can be difficult. We also learned the importance of driving links to the deep pages on our website, not just our homepage. Those key product or category pages, the ones that you really want to get ranked for those highly commercial, non-branded search terms. We also learned that if we want engagement on our social media posts, we need to be interesting, entertaining, and informative. That's what people go to social media for. They don't go to get purely promotional messages. They go for stuff like this. This is an informative and hopefully somewhat slightly entertaining video. We're a digital marketing agency, so if I just came onto this video and said, you should buy digital marketing services from Exposure Ninja, we're the best, we're amazing, we win loads of awards, you'd tune out pretty quickly. This has to be interesting, entertaining, and informative. That's what you come onto social for. When you go to Restaurant Simba, you're getting promotion for starters, promotion for mains, and promotion for dessert. The result is really low engagement across social, which is going to mean that over time, the algorithm starts showing their posts less and less and less, which then becomes a death spiral of low engagement. And remember the golden rule, if you're struggling to work out what to post on social, have a look at what influencers are posting in your space. That's the sort of stuff that's getting engagement. So if you take that sort of approach with your brand, then you should be able to get some traction too. We also saw a great example of how to collect your own data to become a thought leader about something. Simba has its own app, which allows it to collect data about people's sleep and gives it the opportunity to be a thought leader in the world of sleep. We also learned if you don't actually use that data and if you don't take that opportunity, you still won't be a thought leader in the world of sleep. So it's important to collect that data, have a way of finding that data, but then also use that, promote it, make stories about it, get your people out there talking in high profile places about that data that you've collected and what it means for your target audience. So overall, we learned that Simba is a brand that is doing well with their digital marketing, but there is still room for improvement. To be a £100 million brand and still not using Instagram properly, there is just no excuse for that. There is also another lesson here though, and that is that you don't need to be crushing it on every single channel to win. Even in a highly competitive space like direct-to-consumer mattress brands, to not be doing a particularly good job or not be doing a job at all on a channel as important as organic social and to still be the number one in the space should give you some reassurance. Done is always better than perfect. And don't let the fact that you might not have the resource to win across every single channel stop you from focusing on the channels that drive the best results for you. So I've got 3 questions to ask you, 3 prompts if you like, for your own digital marketing. Here at Exposure Ninja, we're a digital marketing agency. We do stuff like this for our clients. We help our clients to win, whether that's getting them better ranking, building them a better website, running their pay-per-click campaigns more effectively. Basically, everything we do is about helping our clients to generate more leads and sales through their website. And if you want more leads and sales through your website, then we have a free service which is here to help. It's called the Free Website and Digital Marketing Review. What happens is you go onto our website and fill in a short form about your business. You'll tell us your digital marketing goals, your aspirations for the business, and what you are doing currently. Our team will then go away and analyze how well things are going for you. We'll analyze your competitors. We'll map out the low-hanging fruit and the priorities for the next 6 to 12 months that you can follow to generate significantly more sales through your website. This service, by the way, is completely free of charge, and there is no obligation to use Exposure Ninja when you request your free review. So to request your free website and digital marketing review today, go to exposureninja.com/review. That's exposureninja.com/review. It takes only a few minutes, and within 2 to 3 working days, you'll receive a video to your email inbox showing you how to generate more leads and sales through your website. It's an absolute no-brainer. If you haven't done it yet because you've been waiting for some perfect time, today is that day. First up, review your website's pages, particularly the pages that are designed to sell what you're offering, whether these are product pages or service pages if you're a service business. Do these really sell you as well as they could? Do they answer every possible objection that they might? And do you have a way of talking about your product or service that convinces people that they should buy this thing and from you? Because both of those things are important. If they don't, then you can have a look at Simba's site for inspiration here. The second question I have for you is, what sort of pages are you trying to rank in organic search? And are these the same types of pages that are already ranking? Remember, if we really want to rank a page on search, it's helpful if we know that that sort of page is already ranking, whether that's a product page, a category page, an information page, or your home page. You can then work at taking that page to the next level and focus on beating whatever's already ranking. But it's important to make sure that you're entering the fight with the same sort of page as the stuff that's already winning. Finally, the third prompt, is what you're posting on social really interesting to your audience? Remember, none of us go to social to get pitched at. None of us go to be constantly told of new product launches without any value, without any entertainment at all. If you're not being genuinely useful, interesting, and entertaining, have a look at what influencers in your space are posting. And if you can, be the thought leader in your space. Look at ways to collect information, data, and insights which can be useful and entertaining and interesting to your target audience, and then focus on how you can share those to give you credibility. Hope you've enjoyed this video. Until next time, see you soon.